to the range to make a video, but you've forgotten your camera, so you now have to use a phone in replacement with terrible audio. Subscribe, hit that like button, do all those good things. So today we'll be reviewing the VX7 and VX9, and also their newest SCI Utility Glock. AW has made the VX7 and VX9 as their new generation of G-series upgraded pistols. Now, the older generations, VX1 through 3, were more or less under the shadow of the great WE G-series, as they were very similar, and a lot of people would even say that they performed very similar. However, as their new generation, they made a lot of changes to both external and internal. Firstly, as the slide top may suggest, they are optics ready. They come included with their own armor plate that you can mount a armor on it, which is a pretty big feature hike from the older generations of Glocks made by many other factories. Again, this was a very recent trend where airsoft Glocks would come from the factory with armor capable setups, like the WE Glock 19X, the VFC MOSs, and of course the AW VX7 and VX9, as well as their SCI Utility Glocks. Now, as you can see, both of them are very different from a normal Glock frame, and in fact, these are in the Polymer 80 styles Glock frames. This style frame originates in the US firearm real steel market, where because the frame is what houses the trigger and the hammer and whatnot, it will be registered as a firearm, which if you were to purchase it, you would have to get registered and everything. Now, some people would want to avoid having their gun being registered, either because privacy issues, they don't want the government to know that they're armed and whatnot. They would then opt for a 80% lower, which is a lower receiver of any kind that is 80% complete, where they would be at home with their drilling press and mills, and they would clean up the rest of the 20%, drill the holes for the pins, and they would have a homemade technically firearm, which then would not be needed to be registered in the federal registry. Now, of course, these Polymer 80 frames not only are a unregistered way to obtain a firearm, they're also a, in my opinion, vast ergonomic improvement over the original Glock style grips, as they feature a reduced angle, which makes shooting them much more comfortable, much more like a, I hate to say it, but 1911s and high capas have far superior ergonomics. So that is with the grip. Now, of course, as we see, just like most Polymer 80 grips, they also feature a front accelerator clip. This is so that when you're gripping it, your thumb can rest onto the accelerator cut, have a better recoil control, and general ergonomic enhancements. Now, the grip is a very interesting pattern. The AW called it pre-stippled, but in my opinion, this is basically a molded pattern. The pattern is it's very grippy, but it's not very intrusively so. Normally, this would be a pleasant pattern for other people, but for me, who just sweats through their palms and feet just like it's nothing, this is actually a very slippery pattern for me. Now, of course, depending on who you are, your mileage may vary. I personally like a more aggressive grip. That's about the frame. Let's talk about the slide. Again, there are two versions. One is optics ready, one is not. Their slides are ported, and there are front slide serrations for press checking and power stroking. All the nice stuff. Again, there is one that is like this, and there's another version that is a straight cut. One is slanted, one is straight. They're all ported. They look very aggressive and very nice, and definitely gives you this upgraded Glock feeling. Beyond the basic overview, let's talk about personal experiences. Again, it uses a Glock system. The BBU is not compatible, but the mags are. It handles pretty much exactly like what you'd expect from a AW or W Glock. It's very snappy, it's very nice. Travel is oh so smooth. Oh so smooth. Oh so smooth. And yes, the SCI Utility hates mags. Oh, fuck you. Oh, so. Again, it feels a little bit underpowered, with 1 joule being a sidearm. I typically like it to be 1.3 joules, which would mean that it will be barely CQB legal in Hong Kong, and again, would be a much versatile pistol to use. But it is what it is. Maries come from 0.8 joules, and I wouldn't fault them for being underpowered with their reduced nozzle and cylinder size. Now, the big selling point of these is their optics ready slide. That is a massive value add to these pistols, especially when they're about $100, even less, depending on where you get them. And it feels very nice that manufacturers are starting to realize that airsoft players, much like real steel players, will start to put optics on their pistols. We have been doing this for a long time. We've been using RMR adapter plates. We've been using over the slide mounts, like the high capital ones. And it's finally time for the slide mounted RMRs to make a comeback. Of course, slide mounted RMR slides have been in production for airsoft for quite a while, but they are always hovering around the 2,000, 3,000 Hong Kong dollars, which would translate to about 150, I like to say, 150 to like $300 for sometimes even $500 for a slide, which if you ask me, is a very, very steep price to pay. So final verdict. VX7 and VX9, they were sold at around $100. If you don't use the RMR, they could be sold at even less. These are very nice value pistols. However, which might be a deal breaker, the armor plates have stripped twice in the combined experience with me and Noah from GRZ. Of course, that doesn't detract from the fact that these are very nice pistols. They perform very well and they feel very nice. However, AW, not exactly the best one. For $100, I recommend them to people who have been using bone stock Marine Glocks. This is and people who just want to get their first pistol. These are definitely worth it. Although their BBUs and aftermarket support is not great, they're compatible with normal W and Marine Max, and that's a great thing. However, the SCI Utility is a different story. It's sold around 162 per my own calculations. It's I like to say lackluster. However, the SCI Utility is a very lackluster pistol. For the high price of $150, even more, it performs about the same as the VX9. Obviously has a third barrel, but you could buy the aftermarket for that one as well. It just doesn't exactly feel right. However, as many will point out, the original SAI VLU is about the same price when it releases. which, to be fair, it's the same lineup. It's almost as if they're the same product. When compared to the VX9, it's definitely been outshined as a practical money to performance pistol. If you're just really into the salient arms aesthetic, which I used to be, you want a Glock 19 compact size pistol, you want one that's optics ready, $164 isn't that steep of a price considering the upgraded GMP ones would cost about the same, just the slide. So yeah, that concludes my review of the VX7, VX9, and the AW SCI Utility Glock 19. Thank you for watching. This is File. Thank you for GRZ for letting us review these 3 pistols. And yeah, I've got nothing else for you.